Hey everybody, Seth Campbell here with the new Segue Says podcast. Well, this episode we're going to look at two songs by artists who have gone kind of underrated in their time, but are both fantastic writers and performers and just put lots of great music out there. The first is Little Feat, the second is Marc Cohn. The Little Feat song we're doing is Fat Man in the Bathtub, and Marc Cohn's song is called The Rainy Season. Now, these two songs both have similar grooves and are both in variations on the key of G, either major or mixolydian, and just kind of a mix of both in the case of Fat Man in the Bathtub. So let's go over these one song at a time, as always. Fat Man in the Bathtub was one of the. I mean, Little Feat never exactly had any hits, which is a shame, because they should have. But this is one of the songs is from essentially their breakout album. It was their third album, Dixie Chicken, in which they replaced Roy Estrada, and boy did that turn out to be a good move if you know the history there, with Kenny Gradney on bass, and they added Sam Clayton and Paul Barrere on percussion and extra guitars respectively, which added a bit of a New Orleans Cajun vibe to the Bill Payne, Lowell George, Richie Hayward sort of Americana folk country rock sound that they had of the first two records. And this song was kind of an example of it. Sam Clayton on percussion set up sort of a Bo Diddley groove on the cowbell. It's a slight variation of it, but that's how the song starts. Spot check, Billy got down on his hands and knees. He said, "Hey mama, hey, let me check your oil, alright." She said, "No, no, honey, not tonight. But come back Monday, come back Tuesday, and then I might." I said, "Juanita, my sweet Juanita, what are you up to? My Juanita, Juanita, my sweet Chiquita, what are you up to? My Juanita, I don't want nobody who won't die for dives, don't want no speedball, cause I might die trying. Throw me a line, throw me a line. Yes, there's a fat man in the bathtub with the blues. I hear you moan, I hear you moan, I hear you moan. So you can hear the sort of the Bo Diddley da 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 da. I mean, it's slightly different because the straight up Bo Diddley is da 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 da, but they sneak that in there at times. Now, this being Little Feat, I don't know if they ever wrote a straightforward song that follows just a standard song form, or doesn't have the verses or choruses every time be a little bit different, or have an odd like half bar here or there, or I don't know what they were doing. And by accounts I've read, there's a fantastic book called Willin' by Ben Fong Torres that really chronicles the band definitively. Sounds like some of them didn't know what they were doing either, but they produced some great music. And Little Feat is one of those artists that's I picked up from my parents, especially my dad is a long time Little Feat fan, and so had those records playing and would play some of those songs on guitar. And so it's kind of a legacy artist, if you will, in the sense that I know about them thanks to my parents' impeccable taste in music. Now, The Rainy Season is the title track of Marc Cohn's second album, which of course, kind of failed to live up to his first album through no fault of the music. Marc Cohn, I've mentioned him before. We've seen him in a couple episodes. He's one of those artists, when I say one of, I mean I can only think of a couple where, of course, Walking to Memphis, everybody knows. Put on my blue suede shoes and a lot of people know Silver Thunderbird. don't you give me no Buick. Son, you must take my word. If there's a God in heaven, he's got a silver Thunderbird. Beyond that, not a lot of people know his songs, and that is a damn shame, because every song on every record, he's done 4 records of original material, and then a record of his rearrangements of songs from the year 1970, which are just as creative as his originals. Every song on every record is fantastic. There is not a dud song among Marc Cohn's repertoire, and there are not many artists you can say that about. Of course, that might be why there's so many years between albums, because he's being very careful with it, but still. And this song, The Rainy Season, is off his second record. Doesn't quite use the Bo Diddley. Same. Same sort of rambling, slow groove. This one is largely in Mixolydian, which means it has this flat 4. So whereas Fat Man in the Bathtub was mostly G, C, and D, the main part of the main sort of riff and verse progression of Rainy Season is G, D minor 7, then 3 times, then F, G. So that F natural is very key in this song, so to speak. Clouds moving from on the horizon. It seems like nighttime in the middle of the day. Don't know why it's still so surprising. Love grows stronger, or it just fades away, fades away. And you look older today than I've ever seen you. I think I know the reason. We might wash all of our tears away, but you got to bundle up, baby, for the rainy season. Rainy season. And so you can hear, I mean, they're different songs. They have a different flavor. The Fat Man in the Bathtub is just, I mean, it's Little Feat, so who knows what it's about, really. But it seems to be about just a couple that's not on the same page, and a man who's very much in the mood for things when the woman isn't, and vice versa. And then there's the chorus, and I don't know what the whole Fat Man in the Bathtub with the blues bit is about, but whereas the Rainy Season is, it's like, you know, gotta get ready for the rough patch that's coming up. But, you know, if we prepare ourselves, if we hold out long enough, we're gonna make it through. So there's still optimism in it. Now, this was one of those things, this segue kind of came to me just because I was singing the Rainy Season in my head, and I kind of jumped into Fat Man in the Bathtub unexpectedly. I just, for the rainy season, Juanita, my sweet Juanita. Well, just while I was walking around doing housework, I was like, wait a minute, wrong song. That's weird. Maybe I can do something with that. And after a lot of time and care spent putting it together, I believe I have. So, there's a key element. I like to start with Fat Man in the Bathtub, because Fat Man in the Bathtub, you know, it's very aggressive out there, and Rainy Season is a little more complex, but it's also a little more relaxed, and it, you know, sort of lets you take a breath. Now, there's a key element at the end of Fat Man in the Bathtub, because as I've said, it's mostly diatonic G major, G Ionian. Has that F sharp and everything. Whereas Rainy Season uses the F natural. But there's a moment in Fat Man in the Bathtub at the very end that uses that F natural. It's after the last chorus. I hear you moan, I hear you moan, I hear you moan. Then there's backing voices. I hear you moan, I hear you moan, and that's that F natural, the flat 7. I can hear you moan, I hear you moan. And so it's going F, G, which as you may remember is the fourth bar in the 4-bar pattern in the Marc Cohn song. So you can just, I hear you moan, just go right into the Marc Cohn pattern with the G and the D minor 7. I hear you moan, I hear you moan. Clouds moving from on the horizon. Seems like nighttime in the middle of the day. It's actually pretty simple. It's all about the groove in this, the groove and the root note. So, and this is one, some of my segues I feel like are easier solo artist or easier if you had a whole band and I'm just kind of faking my way through it here. This one I feel like could work either way because, again, as long as you can set the groove for the audience, that's all you need. Now you can go back the other way, and it's a matter of taste. Sometimes I've gone back to Fat Man in the Bathtub at the end, and sometimes I just end with the Rainy Season. But much like Fat Man in the Bathtub, Rainy Season just kind of ends after the last chorus on this groove. Slipping on the leaves, walking in the rainy season, walking through the rainy season now. And since this pattern ends on a G, you can just go straight to the chorus of Fat Man in the Bathtub. I said, Juanita, my sweet Juanita, what are you up to? My Juanita, I said, Juanita, my sweet Chiquita, what are you up to? And then just do the last chorus and outro of Fat Man in the Bathtub. And it works well. There is one other variant of this I've done, and I just want to throw it out there. It's all yours if you want it. Is what you can do. I hear you moan, I hear you moan. You're just grooving on this G. Now this works best if you did Rainy Season first. So Rainy Season into Fat Man in the Bathtub, and now you're ready to go back to the Rainy Season. You could do the I hear you moan, utilizing the flat 7. Or since you've already done Rainy Season, you could just go right to the chorus, which would be something like this. I hear you moan, I hear you moan. Then you look older today than I've ever seen you. I think I know the reason. You can't wash all of our tears away, but you got to bundle up, baby, for the rainy season. Of the 3 actual segue moments I've showed you, I honestly think that one is the strongest as a segue. But I still prefer starting with Fat Man in the Bathtub, and it doesn't work quite as well because you don't want to skip the first verse of Rainy Season. So it's a matter of taste. It's what you want to do. And again, I'm just here to impart the information. You do with it whatever you like. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully you've learned something. Thanks as always for watching. Believe me, I really do appreciate it. It does mean a lot to me. So thanks as always, and I will see you again soon.